evening. Two brand new local bodies have taken their place around council tables in our area. Invercargill District Council held its first meeting under Mayor Eve Poole last night. And as Mark Price reports, the Otago Regional Council met today, determined to show the province is united at the top.
Various members of the new council referred to themselves as the first 15 of Otago as they settled into their seats. 13 men and 2 women to guide the province through matters ranging from noxious weed control to regional planning. This was their inaugural meeting, but not their first meeting. That was held behind closed doors this morning, but referred to as a workshop. The main job done at the workshop was to quietly sort out who would be the council's chairperson. So by the time nominations were called at the public meeting, there was only the one. Milton farmer John Scanlon took the chair, and the salary that goes with it, $72,000 a year. Ian McMeeking got the deputy's job.
I know we all come along here with vested interests, and that's natural, but I think we've got to come and make balanced judgments on all sectors and take everything into account. And I think it's not just our own personal grounds that we do that on. We're responsible for the whole area.
The main business of the meeting was to swear in councillors, make clear their responsibilities and fix their salaries. There was some dissension on this point.
At this stage, I don't think even the General Manager knows exactly how much time and how much work we're going to put into this. We've also got a responsibility besides ourselves, we've got a responsibility to some ratepayers.
But in the end, councillors voted 13-2 to pay themselves the maximum under the Act. And in Invercargill last night, a familiar face led the new Southland District Council through its swearing-in ceremony. Eve Poole will have as her deputy rival mayoral candidate from Bluff, Bruce Pagan, who was also responsible for a move to change the name of the District Council to Invercargill City Council.
Prime Minister Jeffery Palmer visited the marginal Labour seat of Waitaki today, calling on factories and meeting farming leaders in Oamaru. He managed to squeeze a lot into his day before driving to Waimate, where he'll speak tonight. Alan Brady reports.
The day started with a talkback session with Radio Waitaki's David Keane, but it was quickly obvious that if the purpose of the Prime Minister's visit was to consolidate Labour's tenuous hold in North Otago, he wasn't prepared to do it by offering political platitudes. Mr Palmer dealt frankly, even bluntly, with calls ranging from native forests to unemployment. Most of the issues were national rather than local, and it wasn't until the Prime Minister strolled down the street to meet a farmers' delegation that he was confronted with a specifically local problem.
We were reinforcing to the Prime Minister that although we have feed now in North Otago, the debt problems occurred through the droughts of the 80s, 1982, 85, and again last year, that the debt is of such a level that we've just got to address the debt problems in North Otago in order to salvage the bulk of our farmers.
A successful Regina factory was the next port of call, and it was here Mr Palmer revealed one of the best-kept secrets of his political career. The first hint came at the marshmallow machine. Wine gums, fruit jellies and pineapple chunks followed in quick succession. By the time he'd reached the bubblegum plant, it was obvious an uncontrollable sweet tooth is one of the prime ministerial vices. But Mr Palmer's unrepentant.
No, I haven't not got a weight problem. I've been the same weight ever since I left school.
And we have it on good authority, his teeth are still good too. While it was announced today 2,000 jobs will be lost in the North Island's meat industry, there's still no news of what restructuring will occur in the south. Waitaki's shareholders are discussing the future of their South Island assets, including 4 freezing works in Otago and Southland. It's been suggested Waitaki's southern works may end up in the hands of the Southland-based Alliance Freezing Company. When visitors drive into the central Otago town of Cromwell, they'll be greeted by a new town symbol, which is very hard to miss. The town wanted to raise its profile, and the new addition looks certain to do the trick. Lee Davies reports.
4 fiberglass fruit standing about 13 metres high now grace the entrance to Cromwell, thanks to the local Rotary Club, which thought up the idea and coordinated much of the construction work. 2 years ago, the town was keen to put up a neon sign, but residents objected to the $70,000 it would cost. The total cost of the fruit is not yet known, but Rotary Club member Peter McKinley says it will be a huge saving. And the landscape at the hospital creche in Dunedin has also been changed. This time it's an elephant. It used to reside atop the Bowling Green Hotel, but has been donated to the creche and was fixed into its temporary home this morning. Later, it'll be shifted to provide more shelter in the playground.
Finally tonight we head south to Stewart Island, where the new season's salmon harvest is getting into full swing. The arrival of the harvesting team by boat from Oban is a welcome relief from day-to-day routine for the men who live at the remote farms. John McDermott reports.
Meet 21-year-old Andy Hamilton. Every second week of the year, this fifth-generation Stewart Islander lives here at what he and his mates have called Birthday Bay. Paradise would have been a more accurate description. The welcome sign is always out here, but the isolation means there aren't many visitors. Andy and his mates don't mind. After 12 long hours out on the farm, there's always the chance for the odd spot of hunting or the incredible fishing.
If you haven't got one straight after you put your line down, it's not worth carrying on.
It's here, a 500-metre boat trip round the point, that the work is done. 5 workers are required every day to keep going a routine that's also familiar for the thousands of fish in each pen. The most back-breaking job is changing the nets every 10 days or so they can be cleaned and dried. But from now until March, the emphasis is on the twice-weekly kill. Andy helps oversee the end of the 2-year-old salmon.
In a way, it's pretty good to see them go because they're worse than sheep. They're pretty dumb when it comes to sort of things around the farm.
At this early stage of the season, the big fish are between 3 and 4 kilos. Later on, they'll be half that again, and fetching the farm's owners, regal salmon, well over $100 each on the lucrative export markets. Fingers are crossed there'll be no return of the algae bloom that devastated last year's harvest. After further processing in Invercargill, the bigger ones will be chilled and exported whole, while the rest are smoked and sliced, also mainly for export. It's hard physical work, and Andy is pleased to make it home to the barge where even doing the dishes has its compensations. The spotties, like everything else here, have that well-fed, healthy look about them. Home comforts include one of the country's more remote telephones, and there's always the telly. For a lot of the time, though, Andy's new hobby is enough to keep him happy. After 4 years in the industry, he's carved out a life that has few drawbacks.
Social life, that's one. I don't know. There's not a lot of disadvantages.
I think you're right, Andy. That's it from us tonight. Ian Taylor will be with you tomorrow night, and I'll be back in about a week and a half's time. We'll see you then. Good night.